So I just watched the Battlefield 6 trailer and it looks pretty good. I don't know if it was just the epicness of the trailer itself, but I'm hyped. After the two last Battlefield games having been set in the past, it's really only fitting this one's set in the future. Right as it starts off, we get to see how beautiful this game engine is. Battlefield has always looked really good, but damn, this is nice. Let's just hope they can make it look this good in the actual game. We also get to see what appears to be some sort of base at the top of a mountain. There's also a VTOL that crashes into the base. Yeah, I know you couldn't have figured that out. Right after that, we see a group of soldiers jump off a cliff. Then, the best thing happens. One of them pulls out a wingsuit. Or, as us experts call it, he turned into a flying squirrel. In the next shot, we get to see another possible new map. And if it is, then the maps in this game are going to be freaking huge. I mean, just look at it. Yeah. Oh yeah, also Pupper Robot. Then there's these shots of some like old abandoned container ships. Then the wall goes. There's also some scenes of the tanks in the game. Hopefully they stick with the tank system from Battlefield 5. I still play a lot of their last modern Battlefield game, which was Battlefield 4, and my only real complaint with that one was that the tanks felt a bit weak. In Battlefield 5, they really stepped up their game when it comes to the tanks. Each tank shot felt like a super-powered slap to all the other players you made do a cartwheel. So hopefully Battlefield 6 will stick with this. Then we cut to a group of soldiers walking through another new map. Still sticking with the boat theme, this one appears to be some sort of shipyard, or like storage yard. In this part, we get to see some of the guns in the game up close. There's a guy with an AK, some have M4s kind of guns, one of them maybe even has an MCX. Like I said, this game is set in the future, so hopefully we get some kind of cool, experimental, modernish guns. But none of those laser blaster kind of guns. That would just totally take me out of it. Next we are shown a snowy ice bed with glaciers. This immediately reminds me of the Battlefield 4 map, Operation Whiteout. So, if you remember, in that map, there were the floaty tanks. You know, hover tanks. And as this game's set in the future, maybe they'll bring those back. I'd be okay with that. I think that'd be pretty cool. But, nevertheless, there are some confirmed vehicles in the section. There are some hovercraft kind of cars. And this kind of cool Ripsaw-like tank car. This next map has me the most excited, honestly. It's a freaking rocket. You know, like the one that goes into space. It'd be so cool if it launched mid-game while you were playing. We then get some cool helicopter action in a map that looks like a city in a desert. There's some people fighting on top of buildings, and I'm hoping that this is also a map, because it'd be really cool if there was a map just entirely set on top of buildings. Oh yeah, and there's also this. Damn! Next we get to see one of the coolest fighter pilots I've ever seen. I mean, he has a freaking bazooka. Like, what? It then cuts to show us the ground. This looks to be the big map from earlier, just based on the layout, and there's that big center cube. And then there's a tornado. And now I'm speculating, but I think this is probably something to do with, if there's a campaign in the game, the story, because there's not really supposed to be tornadoes in the middle of a city. So I'm thinking this is probably some sort of weather weapon, and I think that's gonna maybe be what the story is about. But even if it's not this, and it's just a random tornado in the middle of a city, I think they put this in the trailer to show us some of the cool map scenarios that will be happening. Like a tornado showing up in the middle of a city would be such a cool gameplay element if just you're playing and then boom, tornado. It kind of be like Pacific Storm, when just a storm would roll through and change the gameplay, or just like in Battlefield 4, honestly, or any of those maps where either Siege in Shanghai where the building falls or something like that. So this just looks to be more of this. And this was even hinted about a couple months ago as a tweet by one of the developers, like a leak. And he talked about how the weather effects were going to be really crazy. So that's probably what this is. We also get to see some more of the wingsuit in action, him or her using it to escape the tornado. And the wingsuit just looks like it's going to be really fun and really useful. And then finally we get the title, Battlefield 2042. The game will be coming out in June 13 of 2021. And honestly, I'm really excited. It's looking like it's going to be pretty freaking good. You can never be too sure with these release trailers. Sometimes they're nothing like what the game actually is. But we'll be getting a gameplay trailer at the next E3, so fingers crossed that there is actually a wingsuit in the game that wasn't just some weird marketing thing. And to be honest, all the things that were shown in the trailer seem to be pretty reasonable, like they would do, and that could happen. So I feel like most likely these things are actually going to be in it. Who knows about like the guns and the cars and stuff like that? That can always change. And obviously the graphics are going to be a little bit lower than what a gameplay reveal trailer is. But I feel like it's still going to look pretty good. I am a bit worried that they're going with the whole like future thing. I know Battlefield hasn't really done that before, but the market is a bit oversaturated at this point. And I'm just worried that, it'll just feel like another game if they don't make it feel like Battlefield and they make it feel just like some weird modern laser guns and all that kind of stuff game. It'll be like what Call of Duty had with the issues of like Advanced Warfare and then Black Ops 3 and then all this stuff. And then there was like Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare. It doesn't matter. Eventually people stop caring. So as long as they keep it just as this one game and they don't make whenever like a future Battlefield game comes out, make it just the same thing over and over again. As long as it's not like going away from what Battlefield's supposed to be. It's like kind of arcadey realism. Where Call of Duty is full on arcade, Battlefield has always been like, you can kind of, it's not like Arma 3 or Squad where it's really realistic, you can die in one shot, but you can feel more realism. Like there's tanks and cars and planes flying around. You have a wide scale. It's not just kill the people around you. It's like you work together as a team, be a soldier, help each other. And I know that's what I've always enjoyed about Battlefield so much. So hopefully they can keep that just how it is. Thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble on about this trailer. I've never done one of these videos before, so let me know if I did good by giving it, if you feel liked it, give it a like. And I could also use a subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It's great help, and give it a like. Thanks, guys.